So today we are standing at what we call our 11.5-mile drain. It's in St. Clair Shores. It's at the foot of Martin and Jefferson, right next to the Bruce Post, the VFW Hall, if any of you are familiar with that. This is a drain. It's a very large diameter drain. I think it's 11, 12-foot diameter. This pipe runs all the way up Martin. It runs past up to I-94 and past a little bit. And it takes all the storm drain, right? It's a storm drain. So all of that area in the neighborhoods, etc., all flow into this drain, and this drain goes out into Lake St. Clair. So it's an outfall into Lake St. Clair. We actually were inspecting this drain a couple of years ago, and what we found, of course, what we were really looking for was degradation of the pipe or sedimentation that was in the pipe. And what we found was a whole bunch of junk, okay? How about that for a term? All kinds of junk. Plastic bottles and different kinds of floatables and all kinds of things that you might imagine get in through the catch basins, get into the storm drain, and they don't get chewed up or anything. They go right out into Lake St. Clair. And that's not an uncommon thing, right? It's been going on for decades. It's everywhere in the world. All this stuff goes out. But we don't have to keep living this way. And our beautiful Lake St. Clair, we want to do a better job with water quality. So what we started talking about is there any way that we can capture a lot of these floatables, the junk, before they go out into Lake St. Clair. So we've been working with our environmental engineers and our folks at the Macomb County Public Works Office to try to develop a plan. And we now have a plan. This is going to be a pilot program, and you'll hear about this, I don't know, 4 or 6 months from now. I'm going to give you a follow-up once we know how we're doing here. But we're quite excited with this because we have a lot of outfalls of different storm drains in Macomb County, starting in St. Clair Shores, and of course runs up. Harrison Township has some, Mount Clemens, New Baltimore, all along the shoreline of Lake St. Clair. So if we can do something good here, we think we can expand it quite a bit. So what we're going to try to do is capture all this stuff. And I'm standing with Joe, who owns Doach Environmental Services. They do all kinds of work for us. I've done some videos about grouting that we're doing in our interceptors and various cleanouts of some of our drains. And Joe's company is a national firm. We're fortunate that they're in Macomb County, though, so we get first dibs on their time sometimes. And Joe is going to explain to you what is actually going to happen here and how this is going to work. Joe?
Perfect. Well, thank you.
Okay.
So, what as the commissioner stated, it's a pilot project, and so what we want to do is we want to check two things. One, we want to check conveyance of sediment, either from the drain out to the lake, or from the lake into the drain. And then as well as all the floatables, like you talked about, all the garbage that gets thrown out of a car window or blown out of vehicles and ends up washed into the storm drain and then floats through the drain into the lake. And we want to measure the amount of debris that's entering the lake through our storm drains. So we have two processes. One, as we've already opened up here, the outfall, that we'll have a low bulkhead, which is going to be which won't impact flow, but what it will do is allow us to measure sediment on either side. So again, we're looking for sediment leaving the drain or lake sediment coming back into the drain. On the surface, what we'll see is we'll have a floating boom, which what that will do is stay at the surface of the water, so anything that does float will be captured, and then we'll be able to monitor it. Typically after rain events is when we'll have the most flow, and we'll be able to then to record and have data on rain events and the amount of material that we're able to capture and keep out of the lake, and ultimately keep our lakes cleaner.
Right. Perfect. So that's really our entire goal here, water quality, right? Just trying to keep our lakes as clean as they possibly can be. Again, this is a pilot program because we're not aware of anybody else doing it, at least down in our region of the world here. But maybe if we do the right thing here and it works out all right, and it's a reasonable cost, then we can replicate this all the way along here. So we're very interested. And as Joe is going to install all of this, they'll come back on a regular basis and take a look at what we actually capture. Of course, the lake levels are really high right now, so some of the floatables might not float down here right now, right? So it might take a while for this to happen, but that's all right. We're very patient. We know they're in there. We just want to grab them before they get out into the lake. And then we're going to see how much we get, right? How much of the junk we're able to capture. And then on a regular basis, how much would it cost us to come here and, you know, check this all the time and maintain it, etc. So that's all part of the equation. But anyway, we're very interested in how this is going to work. So we just wanted to bring this to your attention. We are doing this. As I say, this is our first one. It's at what we call our 11.5-mile drain right at the foot of Martin Road on Jefferson here. And so we'll see how we do. But anyway, everything that we do at the Public Works Office is all with an eye toward water quality, which of course equals quality of life. So thanks for joining us.